Okay, everybody. It's me, and it's my Tater Tot cat. Tater Tot, say hi. Say hi to them. I've got my Tater Tot here in my arms, and me and Tater Tot are gonna do some geometry nodes. And yeah, I'm trying to get my camera to work. Test the mic. 1, 2. Okay. So I think this stuff should be working, but if it's not, let me know. So today I'm gonna kind of remake this little ice transition setup, and I'm gonna do it with geometry nodes. And I'm going to try to explain a little bit of the process, yeah, while I do it. So, let's do it. And then I do it to your top. Cool. Alright. So, this setup is basically kind of a cool ice transition setup, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And it's got this nice displacement effect that's occurring, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's all controlled by a sphere object, this sphere object. And yeah, I'm going to kind of explain how to do this, because I think it's useful. I saw a render like this the other day. It was done in Cinema 4D, and it was pretty cool. I haven't looked at it since I saw it, so it might be different or better than mine, but immediately as I saw it, I thought, okay, well, that's really a pretty simple thing that can be done in geometry nodes, and it really is pretty simple. So I'm gonna kind of just delete it all, I guess, and restart. So keep in mind, we'll need this sphere object, and then you'll need your object you want to displace. In my case, it's going to be this tire, this kind of tire with this tread here. And I'll go into edit mode, and you'll see that this has pretty good topology, pretty high topology, which is why it kind of is a little laggy in the viewport, but that's okay. The more geometry, I guess, is the better. And so yeah, basically what you're going to need is an object, not an empty object. It needs to be a mesh object, like a sphere or a cube. And you need to, I don't know, in my case, I'm just going to click on that object, and I'm going to name it controller. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the object that I want to create this effect on, and I'm going to click, with that object selected, I'm going to click New on Geometry Nodes. And then first things first, I'm going to come up here to our controller, and I'm going to drag that controller object into our Geometry Nodes setup. And I'm going to immediately just go ahead and set it to relative. And so the first thing I want to do is basically use this controller just to firstly displace this tire. Yeah, let me see. I've never really used this like pen thing a ton, but I think it's going to be, I think it'd be useful. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, basically I want to displace this tire, and when I mean displace, I mean deform it, essentially. And currently it has all of these faces on it, and each one of these faces has what's called a normal. And these are all things I didn't really know when I started 3D. But a normal is just going to point directly out of off that face. And it's just going to point right out, 90 degrees angles out from the center of that face. So for here, it'd be here. For these edges out here, they're kind of slanting, so they're more going to be out this way. So every face has a normal, and we want to displace them or deform this object along the normals. And what that will do is just kind of make our displacement look like it is making sense, sort of like a tire is being overinflated. Yeah, and so it's pretty much that, and then we're just going to send that displacement into our shader nodes. So really easy, honestly. First things first, I'm just going to get a set position node. So I will hit Shift A and then search for set position. And it's not going to do anything when we drop it in there because we have to kind of give it some more information. So the first bit of information, or other stuff that I need, is going to be a let me see, it's going to be a geometry proximity node. And I'm going to plug our object info, which is our sphere, our controller. I'm going to plug its geometry into the target of our geometry proximity node. And then I'm going to take this distance, and I'm going to plug this into a vector math node. Vector math add. And then what I'll add to this is noise, a noise texture. So I'll hit Shift A and I'll grab a noise texture. I'll plug the color into the vector. And then finally I want to multiply this by what I was explaining, the normals. So I'm going to plug the vector in here, and then we're going to connect this into a normal node. So this is going to allow this noise to be displaced, deformed, essentially, along those normals. So every object, or every face, sorry, has a normal. Yeah, as I was explaining. So, like for this shred here on the side, the normal would be pointing out this way. And for this shred here in the kind of side more facing us, the normal would be here. And for this one, it would be kind of out this way. So forth. For these ones along the edge, it's kind of out that way. So everything has a normal, and this noise texture is going to kind of deform this tire along those normals. And yeah, neat. I never really have used this annotate function, but it makes me feel like a professor. So yes, and then we want to probably use like some map range stuff at some point. Yeah, immediately. We want to immediately use a map range node. And I think I'll probably put it maybe here first, and kind of see if we can't get these values a little bit better here. Okay. So it's kind of happening what we want. It's just happening kind of like not very close to where we want it to be happening, and I think it's kind of opposite. We wanted it to be. I think currently it's doing something weird. So let me go back into here and see what's going on. Yes. Okay. So that was what I wanted. Okay. So yes, I had to flip those values, and I think that might be more like what I want. Yes, I want this to kind of affect it like that. And so it's kind of doing what we want. It's being displaced, it's being deformed along the normals, and if it wasn't, it would just look like shit, maybe, I don't know. If it wasn't, it would look something like that. Actually, like this. I don't even know what I'm. Anyways, okay, if it wasn't displaced along the normals, it would just look goofy. And so now it's being displaced along the normals, and you know, it kind of makes sense in relation to where this object is sometimes. But the problem is, I think we need to adjust some of this this noise texture first. I think the noise is too high, number one. I think our min and max could be adjusted. A bit, and maybe we can like add some more detail to get this like distortion, get this kind of deformed, I don't know, looking bigger or better. But in order to do that, we can adjust this setting here, all these little settings here. So yeah, I'll keep messing with these. Something I like. And I'll keep adjusting these min and maxes. Let's see if I can get anything better. And yeah, this is the part that just is kind of boring with geometry nodes. Yeah, just kind of lots of experimenting with these values to get what you want or not what you want. I don't know. Most of the time for me it's to just not get what I want. But, you know, if you mess around long enough, you'll get something that's okay. And so I think we're kind of getting there. I think this is affecting it too much. Yeah. And I think we need to have, I don't know, more noise or something. We can keep messing with it. Maybe this is need to be. So, yeah, sort of getting there. It's still strong. I think I could use this to kind of pull it back a little bit. Just this. Yeah, that's actually looking really sick. That looks like some crumpled up deformation. Yeah, so I'll just kind of keep messing with these values and see if I can push it even more into a better looking thing or not. Yeah, lots of experimentation. You know, I could throw like a color ramp in here too to maybe not that. Yeah, it's getting up there. But yeah, I like this. Maybe still is a little strong. I'm pretty okay with that. So yeah, basically as this object, so after tinkering with that a lot, I don't know, geometry nodes is just a lot of tinkering. But after getting that kind of how I wanted it, what is happening essentially is that we've taken our tire, and which is here, it's this object info node, or sorry, no, it's this group input node, and we've taken that tire and we've said, hey, let's set its position. Let's set the position of its vertices. And here is is how I'm setting that position, and I'm setting that position based off of kind of a noise texture mixed with normal, and then we're kind of using a map range node here to kind of limit that based on the proximity of the controller. So yeah, a little convoluted, but this is a setup I use a lot in geometry nodes. It's like super powerful in my opinion, and we can actually make it even more powerful really simply by going ahead and just plugging this. Let's firstly make this noise texture a 4D, and yeah, that's okay. And then this next thing I'm about to share is like, oh my god, it's like the secret sauce. It's such a secret sauce. I wonder if I have anybody here. I wish I had somebody. Actually, I don't know. I can't even see. But oh my gosh, this is the most secret sauce. Is what we're gonna do is take that geometry proximity, basically here, this controller. We're gonna take its distance once more, and we're gonna plug that distance here into the W. And this W factor is going to just kind of like almost change the seed of the noise, how I understand it. So it's not going to affect with like the fall off or the I guess the overall range of the displacement. It's just going to affect with the displacement within the range. It's already kind of the parameters. It's already been told. But yeah, so the cool thing about this is like motion graphics is like you want to use at least my approach to motion graphics, and what I do is to have good control and control that can really like complement your camera movement and things. Yeah, so I want to just control one object and allow that one object to, I don't know, just affect a lot of other things. And so that I want to not only this object to affect our displacement, but I also want it to affect the seed of the noise texture's displacement. And I'll use the distance to do that. So now you'll notice that when I move this, the noise texture is changing, okay, and that's actually pretty sick. And then we can adjust how much that moves based on the location, the distance, by using a math node and setting it to divide, and then maybe pulling this up to like, I don't know, like 7 or between somewhere in 7 and 10. And what I've done, or what I've noticed in the past with my projects, is by like feeding this your effector back into your displacement, into this W thing. It allows for like a really, in my opinion, just a kind of some secondary movement and some secondary animation that is nice. And yeah, I think it could actually be a little bit lower, so you can appreciate that effect a little bit more. Yeah, and so you'll notice that I still have this tire keyframed, And so if I play our animation, yeah, you'll notice that we're getting this nice deformation, this nice displacement occurring along our tire. And so the next thing we want to do is basically just send like the location of this displacement, send it into our shader editor. Is you know, X, Y, and Z, three things, three values. I'm not like a math nerd expert, but these are all things I've learned doing geometry nodes. So location is a vector, and so we're going to need to store a vector. So we're going to need to store store named attribute. Okay, I'll throw that in here, and it needs to be a vector because it's location, or maybe it might. It needs to be. I don't know. I think it needs to be a vector. I'm pretty sure. But in this case, I'm gonna have it set to vector, and I'll just call it like, I don't know, UV test. All right. And okay, and I need to plug in something into here. I think it's this. But I can double check by doing something here. Yeah, I'll just use this for now. Oh, I think it's actually working already. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we've got our displacement, and that's nice. But we want to we want our displacement to change to be glass. And so currently what we have is our tire. And what we need to do is we need to firstly get a glass node here in our shader node. And yeah, connect that into a mix shader, and then yeah, we're basically going to use this. We have our rubber texture, and then we've created a little glass shader, and yeah, we're just going to mix those. Okay, we're going to mix our rubber and our glass shader. So you'll notice now here we're going to Eevee, so the glass is going to look kind of goofy. But here, I'll go into render view, and then I will get rid of this sphere. And so you'll notice, yeah, we have this glass material. It's not the greatest glass material, but it is glass. And then here we have our rubber material. And so we need to just kind of tell Blender, like, hey, we want, where all this noise is, where all this deformation is, we want that to be glass. We want that to be ice, sort of. So it's nice, we've already created that displacement, so we can kind of capture that, those values, capture that information. And we did that. We captured that information here, store named attribute. So now I should be able to just plug in, I'm going to go ahead and use our data right before we mix it with the normals. So I'm going to use this data here. And that's the data I'm going to store. And yeah, so you'll notice now if I go back to our shader editor, as long as I am using that UV test attribute as the factor in our mix shader, it should be working. Maybe it's not. Yes. As long as I'm using that, it's going to transfer that data really nicely here into our shader editor. And so you'll notice now, let's kind of go back to our camera view. And yeah, we've got this cool ice kind of texture occurring. And it's only occurring where this displacement is happening. And so I really like that. And so if I bring up our controller here, you'll notice that at the end of the animation, I've keyframed it to kind of go away from the tire so that ice kind of falls off. But if I go back to the beginning of our animation, I'll shut our controller off and play this. It's not going to play at full speed, but yeah, we're going to get this nice displacement effect that's occurring, and only where the displacement effect is occurring is where we have this kind of nice ice texture. So yeah, you can apply this same technique to any object, really, and in my opinion, it's really powerful in combination with storing some data and passing that information into shader nodes. It's a technique I use a lot, and I'm not like a smart person, I guess, when it comes to math. Like I was an animator first, and then I had to kind of teach myself this stuff. But a lot of my node setups are sort of kind of based on a similar principle here, and yeah, this is the secret sauce, I guess, and I'm sharing it with you. And yeah, hopefully you appreciate that, you know, and go to my website and sign up for my newsletter and subscribe to my videos. And I don't know, I just you know, I like making things, and I've always made stuff, and so I just want to keep making things. And when people like my videos and they comment nice stuff, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, hey, all that work is all not wasted. So I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I don't know, thanks for watching. And I got my Tater Tot here. Maybe he'll say goodbye. Maybe Tater Tot will end the stream. Okay, end the stream, Tater. Goodbye.